I looked at over 1,000 images shortlisted for the Astronomy Photographer of the Year competition to see what telescopes are being used by the best astrophotographers in the world to take photos like this. Some of these telescopes are crazy expensive, but some of them you can buy to use at home off the shelf whenever you want. In this video, I'm going to explain what sort of telescope is best for taking photos of galaxies and planets. I'll cover the advanced models costing hundreds of thousands, but also what to look for as a beginner if you want something affordable for yourself. If you want to take away a one-page explainer on astrophotography gear, there's a link below, or else let's get stuck right into it. If we quickly look at this data, we can see here the top telescope manufacturers. You may or may not have heard of any of these. Celestron and Skywatcher are the biggest makers of retail available telescopes. You can buy them off the shelf at Amazon or any kind of astronomy outlet. They're really good brands and they have good entry level gear, but they also go up to good specialized equipment being used by advanced astrophotographers and astronomers. Brands like Takahashi, William Optics, Astrophysics make advanced astrophotography telescopes for hobbyists. Planewave and ASA make super advanced, very expensive telescopes that are bought by observatories and academic, corporate, governmental organizations. They cost sometimes in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. The reason people are using them in these competitions is not that they're getting them set up in their backyards, it's by accessing them remotely. There are also many different telescope types, some of which are better for astrophotography. So we're looking at the telescope types here most commonly used. The top there, apochromatic refractors and imaging Newtonians. These are variations of common telescope types, so refractors and Newtonians. Apochromatic refractors are top. These can range from pretty affordable hobby models for a few $100s to premium models up in the thousands, generally pretty portable. The same with Newtonians, although they tend to be a bit bigger, but they can provide good value in terms of the specifications, particularly their aperture to price ratio. Schmidt-Cassegrain telescopes are largely from Celestron. They are very good telescopes. They're actually the type used in the ranges like the Celestron NexStar telescope. They are particularly good for planetary photography because they have long focal length. Razors at the bottom there are a variation of these Schmidt-Cassegrain telescopes that are a bit more suited for deep sky as well as planetary. And then CDKs are these ultra premium plane wave models. In terms of specific models, you can see the top ones here. So the top model, the Takahashi FSQ-106, is the top telescope by some distance. This was an apochromatic refractor, but it's no longer available to buy. You've got Celestron Schmidt-Cassegrain telescopes, so the C11, the C14, the C8 you can list it there. The number in that indicates the aperture size in inches. So aperture, one of the key specifications of a telescope, the biggest indicator of its light gathering capacity, and generally bigger is better, but also bigger means more expensive and literally bigger, so more weight, more bulk. The models on that list that are the most affordable to regular hobbyists who might want to do this at home would be the Skywatcher models, the Celestron, the William Optics models. If you're a beginner looking to get into astrophotography, much of that probably seemed like a bit of gobbledygook. My recommendation would be is you first decide if you want to focus on astronomy or astrophotography, so looking through or taking photos. If you want to get going primarily in astrophotography, then my recommendation would be to get a smart telescope. These are compact devices. They contain a telescope camera mount all in one. You operate them by an app on your phone. You've been getting better and better each year and the prices have been coming down. The reason why these aren't in the data I showed earlier of the telescopes being used in this competition is they're not at that level to compete with these telescopes. As I mentioned, some of these are costing $500,000. Even the hobbyist setups might have a $6,000-$7,000 telescope, a $2,000-$3,000 camera, a $3,000 mount. You're talking five figures. If you want help choosing a smart telescope, there's a couple of videos linked below. Alternatively, if you want to focus more on astronomy, so sitting out and having sessions where you look at the stars, then you would probably want to go for a different sort of telescope because you can't look through a smart telescope for the most part. The best telescope you would probably want to get would be a Dobsonian. So these are big telescopes. They come from a lot of different manufacturers. The downside is that they're really big. Some of them big as a grown man, and so it's not really practical for everyone. Some people will have the space to roll that in and out of a shed in the backyard and use, but others just won't. My recommendation is look at the Celestron StarSense Explorer range. So this is about 10 or so telescopes ranging from I think about $250 to a bit over $1,000. There's a number of different types of telescope there. So there's refractors, there's SCTs, there's Newtonians, Dobsonians. What you're going to have to look at, obviously the price and the budget, what you can afford, and then look at the size. So some of them, the Dobsonians for instance, will be higher power, higher aperture for the money, but they will be very bulky. The SCTs will be more compact and have good power, but they will be more expensive for that. Similarly, the refractors, the Newtonians will be good, but the more expensive, bigger ones, the bigger they're going to get. So you're just going to have to work out how you can handle that and manage that. They are really cool, especially for beginners, because what you do is you attach your smartphone to it and you go via the app, it scans the night sky, it tells you what's available above you, and it guides you to what you want to see. Alternatively, if you want the best of both worlds and you have a bigger budget, you could look at the Unistellar Odyssey Pro or the Unistellar Evscope 2 smart telescopes. These are smart telescopes that work for astrophotography, I mentioned, but they actually have an eyepiece on the side, so they can be used for looking through and observing. What they actually show you through there is a digital screen. It shows you the image that is being built and gathered of what it is you're focusing on, so it gets better and better the more you look at it. This makes them particularly good for if you're in a city or somewhere with heavy light pollution, because it's kind of an answer to that, because it's building that image with more and more light, staying focused on it for a long time. You're going to get to see something that even with a good, powerful astronomy telescope, you might struggle to see under light polluted skies. The downside is that they are expensive. You're talking in thousands of dollars. You can check the link below if you want to see the prices, or you want to see any of my reviews or comparisons with all the smart telescopes. So I hope that gave you some good insight into telescopes for astrophotography. There's a link below again to one-page astrophotography gear cheat sheet one-pager, which you can take away, and it gives you a good overview of the gear you need for different types of astrophotography. There's links to the smart telescope videos I mentioned, and if you like this review of the data from the Astronomy Photographer of the Year competition, check out this video as well, where I go through all the different types of gear, cameras, mounts, star trackers, etc. Bye.